collusion and corruption segment tonight. The House Intelligence Committee announces they found no evidence of collusion between President Trump and Russia. This is a pretty significant development, particularly for liberals who have been so insistent on these investigations for the past year. But the mainstream media doesn't seem to care about this finding from the House Intel Committee. The major networks gave less than 1 minute of airtime to this announcement, despite the fact that they've covered allegations of Trump-Russia collusion nearly nonstop for the past 15 months. Since the mainstream media won't cover the story, we will. With me now, national security expert Dr. Rebecca Grant. Dr. Grant, good to see you.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Grant, weigh in on this for me. This seems to me a pretty significant conclusion coming from the House Intel Committee. They closed their inquiry into this and said that they found no proof and no evidence.
It's a very significant conclusion because they've said there is no collusion, there is no cooperation. I'm not surprised by that, of course, but I am shocked that it's not being covered more by the media because this really does vindicate Trump. What I think is going on here, though, is you see the Democrats would like to keep this going, and I'm starting to wonder, is that partly because they have elections coming up?
Right. Well, you have to wonder why they complain about the cost of other things. They complain about the cost of the border wall. They complain about the cost of Trump traveling down to Florida and playing golf. But they don't complain about the cost of these investigations, the Mueller investigation, the congressional investigations that after all these months of very intensive investigations have found zero evidence here. The major networks, CBS, ABC, and NBC, combined, all three of them together, played this announcement less than 1 minute on the day that it was announced. Less than 60 seconds. It was 58 seconds together. CBS did it for 31 seconds, ABC 27 seconds, and NBC didn't even cover the announcement at all.
And what's important here is that the House Intel Committee did spend 14 months, talk to a great many people. Now, the Democrats can't say that it's wrong because it's true, there was no collusion. So what they want to do is they've come out and said they want to talk to 30 more witnesses. They want to subpoena or get information from 20 more banks and other entities. The fact is they want to draw this out so they can throw some mud at Trump. What they're missing, though, is that Russia is about 2 steps away from starting another Cold War. You see what's going on in Britain. You've listened to the announcements about the missiles, everything Putin has been saying, their actions in Syria. And so as a result, we are missing the real story, which is relations with Russia are at an all-time low.
Right, and this is what I've been saying all along about these investigations, is the Democrats have conflated two issues, one of which was very important, to investigate how Russia meddled in our election, what impact it had, and how it can be prevented in the future. That was very important. I don't know anybody on either side of the aisle that would deny the importance of that sort of investigation, even at a higher cost. But Democrats all along have conflated that, the investigation, into just Russian meddling with this idea, this allegation that they invented that Trump somehow colluded with the Russians in order to meddle in the election. And I think that plays into what you said. That's why they're missing this ongoing threat from Russia, because they're too focused on Trump.
They've gotten really confused. We know that the Russians have a propaganda campaign and that they waged a cyber campaign against more than 1,500 individuals in the U.S. We know that they monkeyed around in the elections. But remember, everyone thought that Clinton would win. So there just is no evidence that Russia was even trying to help Trump. And right now what we see is, wow, Trump has been very, very strong in our position against Russia. Very strong national defense strategy, a real pushback with strengthening NATO and adding a new NATO member. We have very strong positions in Syria. Our F-22 fighter jets are locking up and opposing Russian jets over Syria on an almost daily basis. So not only is there no evidence of collusion of any kind, but Trump has come out with a much stronger position against Russia than the Obama administration did.
Right, no red reset button from President Trump to the Russians here. So this is interesting, too, Dr. Grant. I wanted to bring this up. So Congressman Adam Schiff, he's the ranking Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. His response to the announcement from the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee that they're closing the inquiry, this is what he said. He said, by ending its oversight role in the only authorized investigation in the House, the majority has placed the interests of protecting the president over protecting the country, and history will judge its actions harshly. Dr. Grant, in this comment, and subsequent comments and tweets like the ones we can see on the screen right now, did Congressman Schiff deny that the conclusion drawn by the majority on the House Intelligence Committee was in fact accurate?
No, he didn't deny it because he can't, because there is no evidence of collusion. He's just trying to spin this story out. And as we know, there are other investigations ongoing, like the Mueller investigation. I don't think they're going to come up with anything either, but it was absolutely right for the House Intel Committee to draw its investigation to a close. And Schiff is way off base in wanting to drag out any more inquiry into Russia collusion, the Russia, non-existent Russia collusion.
Right. It's ridiculous at this point. It's just making them look foolish, in my opinion. I mean, we've gotten to the point, sitting here talking to you, I almost have to ask, and this will be my last question, what are Democrats actually accusing President Trump of at this point? Now that we've investigated all of their various claims, all of the meetings that they claimed were sketchy, all of the associations that they worried were the conduits between the Trump campaign and Russian intelligence officers, what exactly are Democrats still accusing Trump of doing?
Democrats have a big fat zero of facts with which to accuse the president on the Russia investigation. You know, they're longing to find something that would make up for the fact that America voted for Trump.
Right. And that brings us back to the original thesis of this segment. The mainstream media, if you ever doubt their bias, if you ever doubt that they're in the pocket of liberal politicians, that they want to push the progressive agenda, then just look at the comparison of time that they covered the allegations, the accusations of collusion against Trump versus the time that they've spent covering the conclusion of the investigations that they called for. 58 seconds in prime time from CBS, ABC, and NBC. Shame on them. That's bias if I ever saw it. Dr. Grant, thanks for coming on the show.